What's up, guys? Welcome to Operation B, the podcast. I am your host, Jamie Thurber, and I am here to take you on a journey of deepening, of expansion, of understanding more about who you are and why you're here and how to operate in an optimal way that allows you to do what you want to do, feel how you want to feel, take care of yourself truly, and support everything that your heart desires. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Operation B podcast. I am your host, Jamie Thurber. Thank you for joining me here in the home studio. I haven't been here in a while, or shot here in a while, I should say, and I missed it. I'm not going to lie. And it's actually very fitting because I was having a conversation earlier today with a friend / client of mine, and we were talking about what I realized when we were done talking was what we were discussing was something that is so common but not talked about enough, and it's that we go through seasons as human beings. Some seasons we have a hard time getting out of bed for a while. Some seasons we are so enthusiastic and pumped and have all the ideas and it feels like everything's going right for us and blah, 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 right? Like, we have seasons where our system will physically go like this. And sometimes all of that happens in one day, and that's okay too. And it led me to think, I've been thinking about my own company and my own brand a lot the last week or so. Why? Because I allowed myself to do something that is a repetitive thing for me and get completely consumed with somebody else's brand and somebody else's content and somebody else's direction. Now, granted, it's actually a whole group of somebody's because it's companies or other shows from the other company that I purchased into, I should say. And so that team there, it's obviously in my best interest that all of those shows do really well. It's also been my number one focus that that company gets wildly organized and able to function in a way that allows me space to do what I know I'm the best at. Once the systems are in place, then you get to actually live in them. And that's where the magic happens, right? Like, that's where the growth really occurs. But it's that space at the beginning when I do this work for people that is really, really all-consuming. So what I realized, though, is during the last 6-7 months, I didn't have enough to give to all the places. So I gave it to the places that felt the highest, right? Like, obviously we were still giving it to our body because we're not doing that again. We're not going backwards on that. And I was not giving it as much to my own stuff. Like, I was sharing and doing, but it just hasn't been what it deserves. It's like a kid or a car. I know that sounds weird to compare the two, but I'm not comparing the two. I'm just putting them both in a category of sometimes it feels like you don't give one of the things the attention that it needs. And then you start to realize and you're like, damn, well, that's not serving anybody. And you didn't mean to do it. I've been feeling that way for plenty of reasons lately. We've reached a really great place in the podcast company where things are ironed out and things are now on a course. And it's just a matter of getting everybody to 100% be on board with that course and stay that course. And now let the systems do what the systems are built to do, which is always scary a little bit sometimes. The other thing that's happened, though, is that I realized that I was at a pretty fragile place, I'd say maybe, where I could have gone to the dark side again very quickly, health-wise. Around that same time, we've had several deaths in our lives. My family, my childhood, my best friend's best friend. And it's been eye-opening, to say the least. And one of the things that this is going to sound really fucked up, but one of the things I love about death, or that I do with death, I should say, that one of the things I do with death is I look at the life. I look at the influence. I look at the impact. I look at the memories. I look at the people that loved that person. And I'm always very moved by those things. And by seeing those things, I see parts of that person's life. And it's beautiful. And I'm grateful that I'm able to look at it that way because it's a beautiful thing. Last Friday, I was at a funeral for a gentleman who never knew. There's no way he knew how much of an impact he had on my life. And it was a heart-wrenching ceremony. It was beautiful and it was so sad. And there were so many reasons why it was sad. There was reasons why it was touching. It was a man whose faith and dedication to things and people that he loved was admirable, to say the least. And to hear him be spoken of in such a beautiful way, and to think about the influence that he made on my life, and I know he didn't know, that's huge to me. And it just was a beautiful thing. And then he has a huge family, and I'm looking at the family, at these boys that I grew up with who have grown up to be good men. Like, that's saying something. Good men. When you raise 6 children that have grown up to be good people, it says a lot about you. And he loved his wife dearly, and their relationship was always something that was very obvious, how much they loved each other. The thing that is interesting, and I'm just probably going to story tell for you guys today, is that, growing up, we went to church every Saturday evening because my dad worked nights and he was not a morning person. So we were not Sunday morning church people. We were Saturday evening church people. They had a 5:00 mass. We went every week. We sat in the same pew in the same spot every single week. And so did, 40 other people, maybe more than that. Sit in the same place year after year. Share your peace be with yous. Have your moments. Glance across and smile. Merry Christmas. Happy Easter. Happy Kwanzaa Sunday. Whatever it is, right? You go through it all. And then as a child, these people, you've seen them your entire lives. As a child growing up Catholic and going to public school, we went to what they call PSR, so public school religion class. No, public religion school. You know what I mean. So we would go every Tuesday. And the group of kids that I went to PSR with, most of them were the same kids from kindergarten and through senior year of high school. And there was a high school program where couples, like a couple from church, took in that whatever, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year into their homes. And it was just a cool program. We all really liked it. You guys know I am not very religious. I am extremely spiritual. I believe that there are so many aspects that can't be defined by one thing. I think that there's just so many versions and so many visions and so many pieces. And what I find to be true are the things within my own heart. And that's a whole other story for another day. But growing up in that church was comforting. I remember when I was in Iowa, and it was like one of the hardest times of my life, and I was so lost, I knew no one. I looked up the closest Catholic church. And here's why. Not because I was looking to connect with other Catholic people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something familiar and something comfortable. And I cried in the back of that church because that's what it is. The songs are almost the same. The prayers are always the same. And it would bring me back to my childhood and my grandma and my dad, when my dad was like the best version of himself. And those times, and so anyway, I'm in this funeral, and it's touching and moving, and you see this large group of humans, this large family, and these feelings of how lucky they are, and they know it. They care for each other. They've never acted like their lives were simple and everything was perfect. They're just examples of being a human being. That was the other thing that really stuck out to me about their dad, is that he was similar to my dad, wasn't trying to be anything that he wasn't. He was trying to be himself all the time, whenever he could. And so with that, what would happen is he would be able to some people judge people for that. Meaning if they're coming into church and they're not super dressed up, or they're into motorcycles or tattoos or wrestling or whatever it is, they get judged for that. And in my household, that never happened because my dad had a ponytail my whole life, beard, motorcycle. All of his friends are big and burly, smoked cigarettes. Kindest man, quietest, simplest, kindest man. So all of those things, like, I guess I found as I'm sitting in the pew there last week, like recognizing how much those things meant to me in a way that I wasn't really aware of probably before that, about Sonny is his name, who passed away. And it was a beautiful, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a beautiful tribute to the man. And I cried really hard, a lot of tears. It was extreme. It was, it hit me a lot harder than I expected. And part of it was this beautiful thing of that man not knowing how much of an impact he made on me, and how if he made that much of an impact on me, he obviously did it with other people too. Now, granted, so the part I didn't tell you was they opened our church, who's been closed for 2 or 3 years now, for his ceremony, which is, that in itself was beautiful. But all those people that I mentioned to you, that I would sit in there with every Saturday, even if we never spoke to each other, they were there too. When I walked in, you couldn't even get in the door. There was a line of people to hug the family. It was just beautiful. And I honored myself in that grief I used to catch myself when I would feel grief in situations like that, where it would almost feel like I shouldn't. Like, it's not my dad. I wasn't that close to him. I shouldn't feel this way. Fuck that. Grief is grief. Love is love. Admiration is admiration. And, there's a side of looking at those boys that lost their lost their dad, and then look at their mom who's never been without him. And it's hard. It's hard, and you can't help but feel empathy for those people who's looking at their mom who's smiling, by the way, the majority of the time, because that's who they were. And anyway, it was just very beautiful. And I honored those feelings, and I let myself have them all, and I left there, and it sat with me. And it's been sitting with me since. And it's been almost a week. And unfortunately, over the weekend, my best friends, like really one of his very best friends, like mentor, who I knew very well over the years, died in a freak accident. He had a very dangerous job and never a problem, but died on just a thing he did all the time. It's difficult to make sense of those things, and while I'm flabbergasted, honestly, that he's not here and that happened, and I probably haven't really fully made sense of that in my head yet, I know that a lot of my grief and fear is for AJ. It's for his broken heart more than anything, because he means a lot to me. Something that maybe you guys have picked up on over the years of listening to me and reading my words is that I have really solid male friends, and I always have. And it's not that like, oh, she's just one of the guys, and it's like but it's that, meme where they throw hot dogs at her face, and like, no, I genuinely am. Like, and AJ's one of those people, and he's very special to me. Our relationship is special, and he matters a lot. And those relationships are different for a lot of reasons. One, he knows what I've been going through physically, and he's there for me, and he doesn't push. He doesn't make me feel bad for not coming around. He still invites me to shit. Like, he never makes me, it's just a different kind of friendship. So that happens, right? I'm sitting there thinking about all the people in the last 7 months that I've allowed to consume the very small amount of energy that I have. And it was like a flip. I thought, we're not doing that anymore. Which is fitting because on Labor Day weekend, I worked my ass off for 4 days straight, and I did so because I told myself we're not doing this anymore. We run companies with ease. We run companies that fit into our lives, not companies that our life has to fit into. We do these things intentionally because that is what we believe and that is what we are capable of. That is how I do life. When there's an emergency, I handle it. On the day-to-day regular basis, we do life and run business. Things are handled the way they need to be handled and things work the way they need to work. They do not consume every ounce of my being. They do not prevent me from seeing people that I love and need and want to connect with. I built it this way, friends. I built it this way. So I was thinking about this, and what's funny is that AJ lives about 50 minutes from me on a highway I hate driving. I can go the back way, which is usually what I do. He's busy too. It's not like he's readily available to me all the time, but still, right? So my studio is 15 minutes from his house. And when I started going there in February, I told myself, one of these Fridays, I won't be so exhausted or overwhelmed or have so much back work that needs to be done, and I'm going to go hang out with AJ because he's off work on Fridays, which means he's working at his house because he's a car guy, and that's what you do when you're a car guy. All of your free time is spent working on something with an engine. And it's now the middle of September, and I've never done that once. Until tomorrow. Because it's happening tomorrow. It's definitely a interesting thing how just sometimes, anything that happens in life, and as I was already thinking about these seasons and these changes before these deaths occurred, that is how I know that it's the right path and right season thing, right? Is that I was already thinking about it. And then these things happened that were beyond my control. And I could understand this. These are all affirmation pieces. These are all pieces of the puzzle that you've been looking for. These are reasons why this is the right move. So I don't really know that I had much of a massive purpose of this session today other than to just talk a little bit about whatever was on my heart and to share, because I believe that when we share stories and we share things that we've experienced, it will reach whoever it's meant to reach. I believe that when we do that, these things can turn into ripple effects that will find an effect in the positive way the people that need it most. So sometimes it's just about the storytelling, and it always will be for me. So yes, we're having guests on some of the shows, and I get to show you some of my favorite people, and we get to have incredible conversations. And at the end of the day, the thing that will always matter most to me is this. It's this connection. This is how it all began. Before there was even video, friends. This is how it all began. And these lessons help me. They help you because you tell me, and I love that. And there's something that are really special to me. So thanks for being here. And I hope you pulled something out of what I talked about today that can help you and make you feel better and make you feel maybe less alone. Or maybe it gave you a direction that you were questioning. I don't know. But whatever it is, I hope you got it. And thank you for being here, as always. If you appreciated or learned anything from this, please give it a thumbs up wherever it is that you're watching. If you can share this video or audio over with anyone that you think could benefit from it, please do so. The more people that we can share it with, the better off the show goes, the more supported it can be. And that's something that you guys can help me with. So always give thumbs up, leave a comment, tag us, let us know what you think. And thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to Operation B, the podcast. To support this message and to support the show, please make sure that you like, follow, and share the podcasts wherever you enjoy listening, and be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.